Travis Kelce enters Arrowhead Stadium in eye-catching attire ahead of the Chiefs vs. Cincinnati game. On Sunday, September 15th, Travis Kelce appeared in a bright green t-shirt, baseball cap and sunglasses as he entered Arrowhead Stadium. Kelce will join his teammates in the warm-up before the Chiefs vs. Cincinnati game. The defending Super Bowl champions, led by Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, stayed on top in their first game of the NFL season, narrowly beating Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens 27-20 on Thursday, September 5th at Arrowhead Stadium in Missouri. After an early touchdown from the Ravens in the first quarter, the Chiefs followed with their own and never let up, leading the rest of the game. They added 2 field goals in the second quarter to go into halftime up 13-10, and another touchdown in the third. The teams traded off touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but despite another field goal and a late play that nearly tied the game, the Ravens couldn't catch up, and the Chiefs came away with the win. The final moments of the game had all fans on edge, when the Ravens moved to the 10-yard line with just a few seconds to go. With 1 second remaining on third down, Jackson threw to Isaiah Likely, who caught the ball in the end zone, seemingly tying the game and sending it to overtime, but his toe was narrowly over the line, negating the play. Mahomes, Kelce and the Chiefs have been clear from the start that they want to win an unprecedented third straight Super Bowl this season and make history. Though they've got a ways and 17-plus games to go, they're on track with their first win. Former Philadelphia Eagles center Jason Kelce has witnessed how the romance between his brother Travis Kelce, the Kansas City Chiefs star tight end, and Taylor Swift blossomed. Because of Swift's international celebrity status, her relationship with Jason's brother has become a phenomenon, spawning a cult-like following. While Jason Kelce is happy for Travis Kelce, he also admits that Swift's presence poses challenges. "There's a lot of people paying attention at all times, which is positive and negative at times," Jason said on the 94 WIP morning show on September 12. "Obviously, when you're trying to be private and live your life, it can be overwhelming." Swift has become a staple of Kansas City Chiefs games to support Travis. And so is Jason Kelce, who recently retired after a 13-year NFL career with 1 Super Bowl championship and 6 All-Pro honors. Swift's presence, however, has not distracted Travis and the Chiefs at all. As he and the Chiefs won last season's Super Bowl, their third over the past 5 years. While being in Swift's orbit has its challenges in their personal lives, Jason Kelce is also in awe at how much the multi-awarded singer-songwriter is well loved, not only because of her talent but her charming personality as well. "But I think that she's built up such a fan base and a contingency and an amount of people that really just, love her that it's really cool at the same time," Jason Kelce said. Xavier Worthy, rookie wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, played his first ever NFL game last week, and though he touched the football only 3 times, managed to score 2 touchdowns, thanks to his terrific speed. Some effective blocking by tight end Travis Kelce and the team's other offensive players also helped. With their protection, Worthy outran the Baltimore Ravens defense to score 1 21-yard touchdown and later scored a 35-yard touchdown that wound up winning the game. Kelce, a Chiefs veteran who's also known for his romantic relationship with Taylor Swift, knew it could have gone very differently. He knew what many successful and unsuccessful people have learned the hard way: it's good to have great ability, but it's just as important to know how to keep your cool in a high-pressure situation. That's always one of the questions, when you see a young guy come into the league, is he going to let the moment get too big? Kelce said in this week's episode of New Heights, the podcast he co-hosts with his brother, former Philadelphia Eagles center Jason Kelce, "Will you let the moment get too big?" You've probably experienced this phenomenon at one time or another. Like tripping over your words when making do-or-die presentation to a potential investor or big customer. Or taking a wrong turn just when you're hurrying to an all-important meeting. Or what happened to me, after a singer friend who admired my ability to sing harmony asked me to join her on stage. I opened my mouth and nothing but squeaks came out. Worthy, this year's 28th draft pick, is certainly known to be fast. He holds the record for the 40-yard dash at the NFL Scouting Combine at 4.21 seconds. But Kelce is very right that under the bright lights and do-or-die pressure of a season-opening NFL game, things could have gone very differently. Worthy could have choked, or stumbled, or fumbled the ball, or let the bigness of the moment bring him down any number of different ways. Instead, he was impressively calm. He's not playing tense, he's not tight. He's ready for the moment, Kelce said. He's cool as the other side of the pillow, the Xavier Worthy 24-hour rule. Worthy, from the moment he was drafted by the Chiefs, has exhibited a blithe calm in the face of all the hoopla that surrounds professional football. In a Chiefs press conference this week, he gave one reason why. "I have this 24-hour rule," he said, in answer to a question about how he's been feeling since his big debut. "You do it, you live it out, and then you forget about it. It's on to the next. The next, in this case, is the Chiefs game today against the Cincinnati Bengals." And when a reporter asked whether his performance against the Ravens made him more confident heading into today's game, his answer was right in line with his 24-hour rule. "I feel like once I have a good game, it happened," he said. "It's on to the next, and the next game could be bad, so you never know. Just be confident, and just be humble, at the end of the day." Worthy's 24-hour rule, and his philosophy about good and bad days sounds to me like a perfect antidote to letting the moment get too big. It's obviously working for him, and it can work for you, too. A growing group of Y2K readers get a daily text from me with a self-care or motivational micro-challenge or tip. Often, they text me back and we wind up in a conversation. Want to learn more? Here's some information about the texts and a special invitation to a 2-month free trial. Many are successful entrepreneurs or business leaders who've learned over the years not to let those big moments unsettle them. Worthy's 24-hour rule is a great way to do it. The US Open final with Jannik Sinner playing Taylor Fritz drew a number of celebrities to Arthur Ashe Stadium. While it is not uncommon for a Grand Slam final to have famous people watching the match in person, the US Open was a bit different in 2024 since Fritz is an American. Matthew McConaughey and Jon Hamm were in New York, and so were Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce and his girlfriend, Taylor Swift. Swift, of course, is likely the most famous person in the world. A person is unlikely to travel anywhere where there aren't Swifties. Kelce is pretty famous too, of course, though he plays the American version of football that doesn't translate as well overseas. The Bengals may have started their NFL season on a low note after suffering a surprise loss to the New England Patriots, but Travis Kelce knows he and the Kansas City Chiefs will have their work cut out when Cincinnati arrives at Arrowhead Stadium on Sunday. Kelce has never shied away from commending the Bengals ever since Cincinnati ousted Kansas City in the 2022 postseason. But the Chiefs enacted revenge the following year, securing a 23-20 win in the 2023 AFC Championship game to advance to Super Bowl 57. Despite the fiery trash talk that was exchanged back and forth in lead-up and during the game, Kelce insisted that he had nothing but respect for the Bengals. "I don't want this to get away from how much I respect the Bengals. The coaches, the players on that team," he said on an episode of the New Heights podcast. "That offense is unbelievable. Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins. All those guys across the board on that side are spectacular. They all could be Pro Bowlers, and at the same time, the defense. I don't know if I've played a defense that plays more together than that team. They all know their role. They absolutely play their gaps. They play their zones. They communicate well. They tackle well as a team. It's hard to find a weakness when you're playing them." This isn't the only time that Kelce has heaped praise on one of his team's most fearsome AFC rivals. Addressing the Chiefs' Week 2 matchup against the Bengals, the star tight end said back in May, "We're going to have our hands full. Joey B's looking bigger, stronger, looking like a beast. It will be interesting to see what they do with their offensive weapons. They lost Joe Mixon. I know they gained Mike Gesicki, my fellow tight end." Discussing the uncertainty surrounding the Bengals wide receivers at the time, T. Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase were both looking to be awarded long-term deals and still are. Kelce added, "It'll be interesting what they do with the wideouts. It doesn't matter, as long as Joey B's out there it's going to be a hell of a game because they got great defense and great coaches." Speaking of Burrow, Kelce said of the quarterback, "Every time I hang around him or every time I catch up with him, man, you love the guy even more. He's one of the best competitors out there. Cool hand Joe, man. Joe Shiresty, he's one of the smoothest football players. Just the most calm, cool, collected. One of the great competitors in the game. When you meet him, man, he's ultimately just a great dude. The Bengals will hope to live up to Kelce's praises following a disheartening 16-10 loss to the Patriots, who are actively in the midst of a rebuild. The Chiefs, meanwhile, earned a hard-fought 27-20 win over the Baltimore Ravens at home to begin their season.